What's up, everybody? And we're back with our second podcast, Black Anime Fanatics BAF Fan Talk. We're just your average, everyday black folks who enjoy watching anime. And again, this is your girl, Auntie Sensei, along with FireruinPG, Hathor, LenaKN, Shady Clouds, and Yamadoria, aka Deku. We have our three main we have our three main topics that we will discuss, and it's different from last week, of course. But topic number one would be name your anime waifu or husbando, and why are they your waifu or husbando? Number two would be name one of your favorite comedy anime and describe a scene that made you laugh. And number three would be have you ever been bullied from watching anime? I know a lot of people have voiced their opinions in situations on that. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, guys, so we're here with our first topic. Name your anime waifu or husband, and why are they your waifu or husband? So, let's get it started. So, who want to go first? Who's your waifu and husband? Or both, or whatever. Hathor?
Alright. Ooh, on the spot, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My first ever husbando, definitely, without a doubt, is Dual Maxwell from Gundam Wing. First of all, he is fine.
I don't like him.
First of all. Second of all, I love his character because he seemed very, down to earth, even though he kind of was a womanizer throughout the show. He was the pilot of Gundam Death Site, and at the time, it was all thing that was kind of morbid, so I was like, yeah, okay. He's kind of like the pal to the main character, which was Hiroyu, and I don't know, I just really liked him. And probably, I'm going to do season 90, because I had to second year.
Go ahead. You better not say my man's name either. We gonna fight.
I mean, you can fight for him later. But my secondary husbando, definitely without a doubt, is Mayuri from Fleet.
Oh.
He's weird. I'm weird. Yes, man. I'm super awkward. I definitely own that, and he's definitely awkward and weird, probably misunderstood, and I like that. Plus, that bath scene, y'all need to get on that. Y'all haven't seen that?
Oh, you posted it about 1,000 times. I've seen it.
I was like, oh, hey, baby.
All this makeup off, yo, he was kind of good angle front with you. That was like, oh.
You better tell them. You better let them know. So those are my two.
All right. Next up, who we got? Shady Clouds.
Yeah, I guess I'll step up to this one. Okay. So with me liking both genders, I'll give you let's give you one for both. So my wife will most definitely have to go to none other than Botan from Yu Yu Hakusho. Cause let me Botan, you know,
I know what you're talking about.
yeah. Oh man, that blue hair just kills me every time.
Oh,
Yo,
you got a blue hair fetish, huh?
Just a little bit, just a little bit. She was like ride or die for my boy Yusuke, helped him at every junction, was like, alright, you need to go to the spirit world and I'll protect Keiko for you. I'm like, oh, that's the whole like she's probably gonna cook you some dinner and then just slide in him, if you know what I mean. So for the husbando, you know, this one was a very hard choice. But I do have to go with the cliche answer that most girls probably go for, but it has to be Sebastian from, oh my god, I'm blanking on the name of the anime because I'm speaking right now. Oh
Black Butler?
Black Butler, yes, thank you. I don't know what it is, man. It's probably when he was tap dancing and set up the tables. I'm like, oh, my boy can set up my table. Hello! Make me something to eat. So, man, I don't know, just a dude in the suit, man, just gets me every time, honestly.
I see. So next up, let's go with FireruinPG.
What's up, everybody? What's up? So I guess my first waifu, well, I go by my favorite anime, Full Metal Alchemist. So Winry is my chick. She basically the glue that holds everything together to me. So I feel like she's really been down for Edward and Al since she was a kid, and so she's a mechanic, and I like girls that do stuff that guys do. You know, that really solidified her waifu for me. And I guess if I had to go with a guy, I guess I'll go with One Punch Man because he's just a normal guy and he's super powerful. He does what he can do. He's pretty chill, and I don't know if you guys are familiar. Are you familiar with One Punch Man?
Of course.
Yeah.
Dude, who you think you're talking to?
Reading manga lately, and I know I heard the new season is coming out, so I mean, the manga had a lot more interesting things. Some of it probably would solidify your husband for a lot of women, you know. So I guess that was my selection.
All right, Lena.
I think I'd have to go with Levi for obvious reasons.
And those reasons are.
Levi.
Basically, Escanor is the best. I think everybody can agree on that. Escanor from Seven Deadly Sins, right?
Escanor, he's the lion dude, right?
Son of Pride,
yeah.
He made the entire season worth it. He's awesome.
Made you wet, huh?
Are really hot, and I like him in his short form too. That's cute.
He got a small mic for him.
Yeah, and for my wife, probably Esther from Akami Got Killed. She seems dedicated.
Dedicated.
Wait. You talking about the sadist girl with the blue hair?
Yeah.
Oh, you would love her.
I told you, the blue hair be getting it. I don't understand. They probably be throwing it, you know what? I gotta.
No.
In the end, she got her man. In the end, she did it. I applaud her.
She got him all right. Mr. Midoriya. Young Midoriya. Deku.
For me, I'm gonna kind of categorize two of them since they're from the same universe together. They're kind of similar in a lot of aspects. But for 1 and 2, I'm gonna roll with Makoto Mishima from the Persona 5 universe, and
Don't rage. He's a rager.
I'm also rolling with Mitsuru Korichino from Persona 3. Both of them are incredibly smart. They're strong. They can get a lot done by themselves. In my honest opinion, I feel as if they could, like, to boil down to it, they could probably solo a lot of people in their universe. Like, I feel like they're the strongest, like, main protagonists of their select universe. And on top of that, they're like smart as shit. And secondly, she's not from an anime, so I'm kind of cheating on this one. But
cheater.
I couldn't think of anybody else, but I have to go with Lady Palutena from Kid Icarus. Like, Palutena, she's funny for one. She's a goddess, and that's literally all you need. She's going to help you out in every situation, and she's going to create laughs.
Okay.
Palutena and Smash. We gotta. I'm gonna be real for 2 seconds. Palutena and Smash is bad, but she's a good person.
Yeah,
That's it for me.
but I will say Smash Ultimate, she's looking like she's a high tier character.
Indeed, I saw the uppie. I was like, woo. Anyways, back to the topic.
So for me, my husband though would be no other than Kenpachi. I just, of course, Kenpachi. I love no. He's wild. He's buff. I like. He's thick. And of course, thick. And then I like sheer power in characters. Like he just he's like a guy who can just grab you and just handle you like a bear or something. But and my second one, like, okay, my second husband, all right. So basically, I haven't read all of My Hero. I'm not up to date with My Hero Academia yet in the manga, but I got to Fat Gum, and oh my goodness. Like, oh, okay, he's blubber, but then when he shrinks, like, oh my goodness, yes, that's gonna be my new husband though. If me and Kenpachi don't work out, he's second best. So, and plus he also got that attitude, like, he got that man's first attitude type thing. I did that. You feel like what?
I feel like Kenpachi would probably try to fight you at every junction in life.
No, he probably might be like Vegeta or something, a real softy underneath or something. Not my Boma. He gonna be like, not my Kira, not my Auntie Sensei. Hey, that right, Kenpachi.
Oh, no.
But okay, guys, we're gonna wrap that up for topic number 1. Okay, guys, we are on to topic number 2, which is name one of your favorite comedy anime and describe a scene that made you laugh, if you could, or if you can remember, hopefully. So let's start with young Midoriya.
Alright, so for me, I actually have a few of them on this list, but I will try to, I guess, condense them, if that makes sense, part two.
Sure.
So for the first one, I'm going to roll with Aho Girl. It came out earlier this year, and I think what kind of made me continue to watch it was like early on when, main character, and I forgot his name, but he's basically her love interest. Like they're in school and crap, and she's like, "Oh, you can take a peek at my panties any day." So he's like,
Penny shots.
"Oh, let me show you how I feel about that." And he like gets behind her, and she thinks like she's about to, she thinks that he's about to hug her from behind. So he just flips that and German suplexes the shit out of her. So like, like he literally German suplexes this woman, and I'm like, Jesus. So is that another part? He uppercuts her, and she goes flying through the ceiling. And it's another part. She fights another character's mom about who's gonna marry, her love interest. That I will have to say my second one would have to be Isekoi. It's rom com and slice of life. Just about the whole anime to me is just absolutely hilarious, just because off of the interactions and just the things that goes on in the anime. And the third one, um, I think I'm going to have to roll with um, possibly Oharu Cross Machine Gun. Like, main character Tachibana is a chick, but everybody thinks that, it's a guy, just because how she dresses, the short hair, and her mannerism. So, everybody just mistakes her for like this guy. And like her facial expressions in that entire anime, like when she goes like into psycho mode, playing paintball and whatever, like it's just hilarious. So I think, those would be my 3 favorite comedy anime.
I actually have that one on hold at the moment. It's on stall. I think I'm nearly done with it, but I just started.
Mm.
All
Yeah,
right.
you should definitely give it a try.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's really good. Okay, so we're gonna go with Lena.
Oh.
Oh.
Mine is Zombieland Saga. Have you guys seen that? The brand new.
Nope, but
No.
I haven't
I
saw it yet, but
It's
it's my
this
kid.
this guy Kotaro. He brings back these idols from different centuries. Like one is a prostitute from like the Edo period. One is like a 20-year-old pop star. I think two of them are died 10 years ago, and one of them was like a pop star. It's hilarious. It is so funny. Like whenever they, so he organized them all so if they could revive this little crap town that nobody knows about. And it's like, why? Why revive girls to do that? Why are they zombies? How are they dead? Because in Japan, like mostly they cremate the bodies. Well, how did he bring them back? That's kind of weird. Anyways, that's not the funny part. He is hilarious. So they go for these morning meetings, and he's all sorry, I'm terrible at explaining things, but he yells at him the entire time. He has his stupid zombie heads. So funny. Oh my god. He just sounds abusive the way I'm describing him, but it's totally funny. The very first episode they do like metal. They do metal like they're screaming into it, even though they're this little like girl pop band. It's so weird. Oh, and they do a rap battle the
they
second
do a rap
episode.
battle. Zombies rapping.
Yeah, it was really good. I saw that part. I'm like, yo, they going at it. They like dissing each other too and rapping at the same time. Like, yo, this is wild.
I recommend it.
All right. So it's kind of pretty funny. So next up, Mr. FireruinPG.
What's up? Well, I'm kind of a type of guy. I like a lot of action anime, so comedy anime is far in between with me. But I do see comedic moments, so I guess I would have to pick Food Wars because it's kind of both of them put together, and so there's a lot of funny things that goes on there, man. Especially the main characters. I think the first thing got me hooked, and that was when the main character uh, cooked this meal, and it was with bacon and stuff like that. And usually it's just mostly all the orgasms that people have over the food. Like that's the only way they can show them actually tasting the food and how good it tastes is that they clothes just burst off of them and then bubbles or bacon that see pigs and all types of things. And that always cracks me up every time I watch it. Really, the only other anime I can think of is I really can't think of a comedy anime, but I can't remember what's the one when the guy turns into a girl when the water hits him.
Ramen One Half.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My girlfriend loves that show, and I watched a couple episodes, and it's been some funny pieces in there, especially with the little pig that he has and everything like that. But I'm sorry if I couldn't really give you too much funny anime because I know it's a big deal, but sometimes I don't like reading subtitles. It's supposed to be trying to be funny. It's supposed to be funny, but I'm focusing on reading and looking at something, and so I like subtitles when it comes down to stuff I don't really have to pay attention to. But for me to get the joke and I have to read it, kind of hinders me a little bit.
I see. So next up, we're gonna move on to Shady, Mr. Clouds.
Yes. Okay. So this is pretty much probably a cliche moment, but I'ma say it anyways because it was funny as hell to me. So it's in this anime Nichijou where there was a deer, and then the principal comes down and he's like trying to get rid of the deer, and he's trying everything, and it's not working. And they start fighting, like for real, just for real fighting, and then the deer goes like stampede him or whatever, but it doesn't work out that well. And then the principal stops him with his bare hands and then just suplexes the hell out of the deer. It was just.
Why would he suplex a deer?
I mean, I don't know why he would suplex the deer. He just did, and honestly, it kills me every time because I see it on Twitter all the time of people just retweeting that. And it was, oh man, I'm gonna see if I can like give you guys a link to the Twitter video, but man, it was funny as hell. Even thinking about it right now just gets me laughing. Dude.
I mean, I can imagine him like, why would he suplex a deer?
I don't know, but the deer was talking some mess apparently, and I don't know.
It's kind of like the moment when what's the guy's name? Peter Griffin was fighting that chicken or something.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much how it was like that. Pretty much.
I can go through suplex right there.
I don't know what it is about suplex. If you suplex somebody, it's just funny as shit.
Yeah, it's like the funniest thing in anime.
Okay, Hathor. Oh wait, you done? You done? You got any more? I'm sorry. You got any?
I guess the other one would probably be like one of the forgotten episodes of Pokemon where James, Jesse and James are like the beach or whatever. Well, the whole gang was at the beach, and then James was like cross-dressing, and he had a pretty big rack for a dude, and I don't know how that happened. Just the image of James cross-dressing in a bikini was just hilarious.
Okay, so next up, Hathor, what you got?
Okay, so you know me, I was put some stuff on the list, and I realized that, and I can't put this anime, but Beelzebub, and I hope I'm saying it right, but that anime was hilarious to me.
It is.
It pretty much focuses on, you know, Olga. He has to raise this demon baby, and he's going to high school. He's got the demon baby's nanny with him, and it's just hilarious to see this teenager who was a trouble kid, pretty much trying to maneuver his way throughout high school with his baby. The baby gets into all kinds of things because he's got powers, and it's just crazy. Another one I will say is One Punch Man, and of course everybody's seen it, most people. I think it's simply hilarious because the main character is like so nonchalant about everything, like, and he's just OP, and that's what just makes it so funny to me. And of course it's satire, so that's great.
Yeah, he like, okay.
Right.
Okay. My next one is not one that I've seen, but it's one that I want to see, and it's Gintama. Because for a while there on Facebook, everybody was sharing that one video where they were searching for the dead body of some guy, and the only way that they could recognize it was with the lady identifying him by his dick.
By his what?
By his
dick. Gintama. Oh, Dad, I see that.
Yeah, so she like had to go and grab it to figure out which one was him, and it was just hilarious.
I remember that. He was like, you've been with him a lot of times. You know you can pick which one it is. I was like, oh my goodness. This is wild. I see that clip. All right. So, all right, for me, I'm going to give y'all 3. So for me, my first one is Bamboo Blade. I guess it's considered a comedy, but well, yeah, it should be considered a comedy. It's basically about this guy who had this bet, I think, with his old kendo. I think that's the name of the sport. Kendo butt mate or playmate or teammate or whatever. Not butt mate. I mean, it's Bud. B-U-D. Bud mate. Come on now. Get your head out the gutter.
I heard butt mate.
Bud mate. Whatever. But his old teammate or whatever. So they had a bet or whatever. So he's trying to teach these girls and stuff how to do kendo and everything for he can win a free meal or some junk like that. But the hilarious part was when he was at the store and this older lady was at the store. I guess he was trying to shop and get something, and they seen the same item or something. I believe I'm remembering this right. And they go and they go and like head on for the same item. And what made it more hilarious is they doing it in slow motion, like a how like one of those super high action packed fight scenes where you see the slow mo punch where you about to just knock them out or something. They going in slow mo at the item. The old lady yelling, he yelling. They got the buggies, the crates, or the carts or something, and they just about to smash into each other. And the lady just screaming her head off. It was just all hilarious. All right, so the second one I got is Hitalia. Hitalia is basically a comedy supposed to be educational about the world, like the asses with Japan and Germany and who else they had, Italy, and it's just hilarious. Italy is the most hilarious country. I mean, country, yeah, whatever.
Yes, it is indeed a country.
Italy is just hilarious. The relationship between Italy and Germany, they just I don't know. It's a whole bunch of funny scenes. Watch it. It's like a 3 minute episode, almost 100 of them though. But watch it. It's funny. I can't describe a scene because there's a lot of them.
She's lying to Italia's bad. Don't do it.
It's not bad. It's hilarious. It would be the best thing you ever see. It would make you cry laughing, especially in America. America is a butt, but
I definitely think that anime there. It's like different people representing different countries, or
yeah, it's different people. It's different. You got America, Russia. Oh my goodness, Russia.
Yo, Russia is wild, bro.
Russia is bad, man. Russia is crazy. Like it's like one of those characters. Like he got that calm face. They got the calm face or whatever. But when you look at him, you know something's up. Like real eerie. Like they had this one scene where this was this chair, right? So if you sat in it, you curse and you would die or something. And so Russia went and sat in the chair. It even owned it. Like the origins surrounded him or whatever, and he was like, "That's how bad." Like they were just saying Russia is that bad. Like like the boss. So anything that may seem to hinder the other countries or whatever, Russia owns it or whatever. Like he's bad. So the next one is Hinamasuri. I think I'm saying that right. Hinamasuri.
Yeah.
Basically, this psychic girl or something. She was dropped off, or she kind of just appeared out of nowhere in this Yakuza dude house, and he has to kind of raise her as his daughter or something. And she basically got to try to control her powers or something, or he tells her to stop using her powers, I think, or to control them, or he won't feed her and some junk like that. But the funniest thing I liked about it was when her and another girl with the same power, I think they were doing rock paper scissors or something, right?
Yeah, rock paper scissors.
Okay, so they do rock paper scissors, and I guess it's a thing in Japan when you do rock paper scissors, you have to make the other person look down or look up or something like that. And what she did was she tried to make her look down. The second girl or whatever, her powers wasn't strong enough to make her do it. But when the second girl did it, she literally knocked the girl out into like over the waters or whatever, or down in the ground. It was hilarious. Y'all should check it out. Probably post some clips of it or something.
Got me too.
But yeah, those are my three. Hilarious. Watch them. You'll love it. That's my best Trump impersonation.
Hinamatsu, like that shit's hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially,
Are they still ongoing with the manga?
I am not sure about the manga. I didn't even finish the anime yet. Like,
What?
yeah, I ended up getting behind.
It's like check it out. It's pretty good. Oh, it also has some little sad points too,
Yeah.
and teaches about homelessness and stuff. So yeah.
If it doesn't make you cry a couple of times, is it really an anime?
Oh
Right.
yeah.
It's still an anime.
If it
But
doesn't, if you don't like what's going on at least once or twice, then it's not anime.
all right, guys. So we're gonna end it with this topic, and we're gonna be on to topic number 3 after these shout outs. Shout outs. I would like to give a special shout out to all the artists who decided to let us use their drawing and time lapse content for this video, who are Antonia Clay, Theresa Edwards, and Jasmine Simone. You can find their information in the description box below. Also, a special shout out to Black Star Trinity, the gaming group you guys should check out. Their information will also be in the comments in or description box below. So with that said, let's move on to topic 3. All right, guys. So we're on our final topic of this segment, and it's kind of a heavy topic. So if you have anything to say about it, comment below and whatever. So here we go. It is: have you ever been bullied for watching anime? So we can start it off with Lena. Hush.
Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna pass on this. I actually no, I've never been bullied specifically for watching it. So
What?
Okay.
next person.
Pass it to your boy.
All
Pass it to your boy.
right, since Yamadaria is so eager, we're going to pass it to Shady Clouds.
Whoa! Oh, wow! Okay, putting me immediately on the spot. Okay. All right. So, yeah. I mean, okay. So to get into this topic, it would require me to give a small synopsis of my life. So I'm half Japanese, and so I lived in Japan for a solid 3 years or so, and then I moved over to America, and I didn't know English, so everybody would already make fun of me for that. So when I learned English, this was like I didn't learn English till like third grade or so. So it was kind of already difficult, and I was already getting bullied for that. And then once I learned English, obviously because I'm Japanese, I'm gonna watch anime. And so now I'm like talking to people about like anime and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, you watch anime? Oh, I bet you would. You fucking just a bunch of stuff." And it was horrible all throughout my life. All throughout high school, I would always get the, "Oh, you with the anime crowd people. Y'all some weirdos. Y'all over here watching anime. Why can't y'all watch normal stuff like basketball? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you just watching porn, bro. That's all that is." I'm like, "Oh, really, guys? You got to stop this." So, yes, I've definitely been bullied for watching anime. Did it affect me in any way, shape, or form? Nah. As you can see, your boy's still watching anime. So, I mean, yeah, I've been bullied. It sucks. It definitely sucks back then because you get bullied and then you get into that whole depression mind state. It's like kind of hard to break that cycle. But I mean, it's just I'm fine. It's all good now. Watch anime if you like it. If you don't like it, watch it anyways because you'll like it eventually. So.
Facts.
Okay, next up, we're going to go with Yamadaria. I'm sorry for passing on you, but go ahead.
All right. So, with me and anime, like, I got bullied for a long time. Especially like switching schools, like almost when elementary was over for me. So, I kind of grew up like around like a kind of diverse bunch of kids and stuff because it wasn't a predominantly black school at first. So, of course, everybody's, all right with it and everybody's cool with it. But, when I get to my black school, it's like, all of a sudden it becomes a problem because it's like everybody's watching basketball and football and stuff. And I couldn't relate because, I was never hardly into sports like that. So it's like, well, what do you watch? Like, what do you do? What do you play? And like, I normally play like, like Dragon Ball Z games and, like, anime fighting games and whatnot. So, I think another thing too was being, African American and watching anime was another issue for it too, because a lot of people then and, still now, they feel as if, like they don't too much accept some African Americans into watching anime. It's gotten better, but like back then, it's just all like, dude, you're black. Like, why are you watching this? Like, and it's like super hard judgment. So, just because just because I didn't watch what everybody else watched and liked it, what everybody else liked, of course, is all like, oh, like, you're a weirdo. Like, oh, that's gay. They kind of try to isolate you and put you in this little certain group of, people that you have to hang around and stuff, and you can hang out with, like, I guess, the quote unquote cool kids too. So for the longest, a lot of people would like make fun of me because of me liking anime, and that was my preference. It wasn't sports or boxing or anything like that. Then it's like, the funny thing to me was they wait till after high school to say, "Oh man, like I love Dragon Ball, and I watched Yu Hakusho growing up, and I watched this, that, and the third." And you would have to sit there and look at them like, "Wasn't you the same guy who made fun of me for having interest in anime because it wasn't a part of the norm?"
Mm-hmm.
So like that's pretty much what I had to go through growing up, and I was already kind of like a weirdo too because like I didn't like what they liked, and I was huge into comic books and anime things like that too.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's great that you brought that up because you know, I hear what you mean when you say black people aren't really that accepting of anime because
Right.
you're right because it wasn't always like it is now where everybody's like, oh, you watch anime, cool, oh cool, I watch Naruto, blah 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 blah. But like back then, oh no, if you like
Yeah.
anime, oh yeah, you white, you doing that white stuff, man. You supposed to be black,
Exactly.
you ain't fully black, blah blah blah. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt here, but man, that just it gets to me sometimes because like, what do you mean I'm not black anymore because I watch anime? That's not fair.
Yeah, it's like they try to kick you out of the black community or try to pull your black card just because you like anime. Like I just thought that's the funniest
Right.
thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad it got better though.
Yeah,
So glad.
yeah. I mean, I was still gonna watch it, and
Right. I mean, I'm still gonna watch my little Konosuba, bro. It ain't nothing.
right.
Okay, so moving on to Hathor.
Well, I kind of had the same experience where I wasn't physically bullied, but I was definitely like mentally, I guess, bullied,
Verbally.
and yeah, I mean, that's how I see it. And growing up in the South, there's always this expectation of the things that you were supposed to do to be considered black. And that was just like one of my, I guess, transgressions that I did that added to me not being black. And so for me, I still watched everything. I was that kid that came home and had to rush in front of the TV because Toonami was coming on, all the classic shows and stuff. I never really got into the typical like black things, and I feel like that being teased for liking that really kind of made me want to be very like anti, and that made I continued to be that way as I grew up. I still watch anime clearly because I'm here and talking about it in this group. And I got over it as I got older because you gotta accept yourself for who you are, and I ended up doing that eventually. But I think that was a big part of me growing up was being teased by those people and being okay with it. I don't care because guess what? They watch it now.
Right?
Right now, everybody and their mom want to watch Naruto and Dragon Ball Super now, and I'm like,
Right.
man, y'all ain't even here for the original stuff. Y'all don't even know who Sasuke even is.
Right.
Okay, Fire Ruin, what you got?
Okay, so my story is kind of weird because I was popular and bullied. So so
Popular bullied person. That's interesting.
yeah, it's kind of weird. So I was in a lot of things in school. I was in chorus. I was in the football team. But then I was always like kind of outcast as a weirdo a little bit because I was always a comedic, guy in school. But I did also I'm also an artist, so I actually drew things and stuff like that. And every time I would come to art school and draw things that people didn't know, like anime, uh, they were like, "Man, that's some weird stuff." And so I I kind of wasn't bullied too much in school. I was actually kind of bullied in my home. I grew up with a big family of sisters, and I was like the oldest guy in the family. I got a big family. It's seven of us all together, and I have four older sisters and one little sister and a younger brother. But the older sisters always used to make fun of me for actually watching anime and watching cartoons, and they used to watch music videos. And I'm 33 years old, so I'm kind of old, older than you know the the normal youngster. So
What?
back in that day, the normal youngster, right? Yeah, the normal youngster. But back in the day, they didn't have like computers and social media and stuff like that. So we really didn't have a lot of people to talk to that was you know like anime and stuff like that. So when I was into Dragon Ball Z, I had to wake up early in the morning, watch it, and our family would make fun of me for waking up early to watch anime, but not waking up early enough to go to school. And so those are some of the type of things I had to battle with. As I got older, I learned to to deal with it because I came into myself when I started getting in relationships with people and stuff like that. I had girls that thought I was cool because I played football and stuff like that, but then they got to know me and it was like, man, you're weird because you watch anime. And so I would have girls not like me anymore just because I look like a jock, but I watch anime. And now it's kind of accepted everywhere. And so I learned to just become myself. I was like, I like what I like, and hopefully you guys will
Okay, cool.
be a social butterfly.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think he brought up a big and important thing, and that is social media. Like a lot of us who are like 25, 30 years old, we didn't have to deal with that when we were younger. Like social media wasn't a thing. We didn't have cell phones now that doubled as computers. We didn't have any of that stuff. So you really did feel isolated because you thought that you were the only one going through all that stuff, being bullied by your family and stuff because you didn't have a way to know that there was other people out there who liked it just like you did. So A plus and pat on the back for all of us who made it through that terrible time.
Yeah.
True.
All right. For me, I can say no, I wasn't bullied. I was bullied for other things, but not for that. Like, I was a bully and a bullied somewhat, but not for anime at that. But the only reason why I don't know, maybe because I wasn't bullied because half of my classmates watched Dragon Ball Z. And like I think they was on that Pokemon. I wasn't really into Pokemon. I was a Digimon girl. They was with the Pokemon trading cards and everything. So I mean that was half of my class. And as well as my uncle. My uncle, well he's not my uncle, he's my cousin. My older cousin kind of act like an uncle, but he is a freaking Dragon Ball fanatic. Not an anime fanatic, a Dragon Ball fanatic. he would basically, because I remember one time, like, because I'm not the type to like to watch reruns of stuff or whatever, and he would just, it was this thing on Toonami. I think it was Toonami in the daytime or some junk. I'm not sure what it was, but he was watching an older episode of Dragon Ball Z, and he kicked all of us out the house because I guess we were making too much noise, even though we weren't. He kicked all of us out the house so he can sit down and eat cereal and watch his Dragon Ball in peace. And so I guess because I grew up with people who was in the same thing as me, so I wasn't bullied. So yeah. Oh,
Also,
but
you kind of. Oh, go ahead.
oh, but there was this one thing that happened. I told the story before in a group that we shall not name.
Oh,
We don't name that group
wait, I want the information now. Wait, why can't I know?
We don't associate with that group anymore.
Uh,
Oh, this is like an
eh,
inside joke. What?
yeah, we'll tell you later. But all right. So I was going out with this guy, right? Thick Red, if y'all remember the thought story.
Oh,
There's a
okay,
thought
yeah.
story too. Dang.
Oh, you missed that day. It was crazy. They were
That
trying
was
to
great.
they were
That was
trying
a
to
great
bend my
day.
words basically, and I had to set them straight.
Mhm.
So let's call him Thick Red, and I was on the phone one night or whatever, and he knows I'm into anime and stuff or whatever, and Inuyasha was on. So I'm watching Inuyasha, and he's talking on the phone. I'm just like, he's talking like deep in conversation, asking me questions. I'm just like, yeah, okay. Then he was like, what I just said. I was like, he was like, he was like,
don't
okay,
know.
you watching Inuyasha? And I was like, yeah. Then he was like, all right, it's either me or Inuyasha. And then I was
Oh,
like,
word.
and then there was a pause. I was like, then
Up
he was
to
like,
you.
you know what? You can have Inuyasha, and hung up. I was like, did I just get dumped? And then I finished watching the rest of Inuyasha and then called him back. So,
That is great.
Oh man.
but like, that was hilarious to me. I mean, it wasn't hilarious at the time 'cause I thought I got dumped, but
Yeah.
that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's it.
What you said earlier, like a lot of people were introduced to anime, growing up, whether they know it or not, because they were into Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Digimon, and stuff like that. And so whether they know it or not, I'm all like, damn, you realize you're watching and into anime, right? Like
Yeah.
all those things that you're talking about, that's anime. It's like, no, man, it comes on this channel. I'm all like, okay, bro.
And then at
So,
one point, wasn't One Piece on Disney
yeah,
XD or something, Disney Kids or some junk like that?
4Kids. I think it used to come
Four
on
Kids.
Kids WB or something like that, or something like that. I don't know. I forgot the channel.
Yeah, it was on Kids WB.
Yeah,
What you said?
but
What you said? Fire.
I mean, if we talking about starting off anime, I mean, I think my first anime was Ronin Warriors. Like,
Yes.
that
they
was
come
one of my first
on
anime.
early in the morning. Yeah.
Mhm.
Or Speed Racer. I didn't even know Speed Racer was an anime for the longest until they actually showed the Japanese version. I'm like, oh, I didn't know this was anime. I thought it was just a regular American cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I know for me, for a start off on it, it was I don't know. It was a day when I just like screw people. I don't need y'all. I got my books and TV. 'Cause basically that's what I did. Stayed in the house, read books, and watched TV. So, um, so I think I was just flipping through the channels one day. I'm not for sure, but did Sailor Moon come on PBS Kids or something?
I
Or
don't remember.
No, Sailor Moon was always Tsunami.
It was Toonami. It was something else. I don't know. I was just flipping and I caught selling. I'm like, "Oh, I like this." And then after a week or two, a month or so, I can't find it again. And I was just like tried to remember what time of day it was. I came in and caught that. And then I discovered Toonami.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
Tsunami was like secondary to me. Like I was watching Dragon Ball for the longest on Fox early in the morning, and like it would always stop right when he got the Namek, and he fought the well Goku got the Namek, and so it would restart after that. And I think Tsunami was the first to show the full Dragon Ball series in America.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm trying to remember what was my first anime. Cause Woo, it was my brother that got me into it, and I think the first anime we watched, like it would always be like me, my brother, and my mom. We'd like all watch anime together because we were like huge anime nerds. Well, at least my mom was, and then he got my brother on it. Then my brother got me on it. It was like a whole family thing. And then I wanna say we started off with Dragon Ball. Like that was it. That was it. We sat around the TV, flip that bad boy on. Don't say a word, cause we try to watch Dragon Ball. Don't say nothing.
Like my cousin uncle.
Right? And then
Kicked us out the house.
right, and then for the longest time, my brother would be watching anime by himself, and I'd be like, "Yo, why are you watching anime by yourself? I want to watch it too. What's this about? What's this about?" And then he finally one day, after I think like 2 years straight of just me pestering the heck out of him, we started watching Yu Yu Hakusho, and that was the moment I figured out that was the single-handedly greatest anime I've ever watched. In my opinion, please don't skewer me, internet, please. The single greatest anime ever. And then that's when my mom was like, for real, like, all right, we actually about to get into anime and whatnot. We're gonna buy manga and stuff, and it's gonna be our thing. This is gonna be our thing. And that's how we got started. She liked Rurouni Kenshin and Ranma One Half. My brother was Yu Yu Hakusho and Digimon, and then I was Yu Yu Hakusho. And oh man, I'm blanking on the name of the anime that I was watching. Oh man, Cowboy Bebop. There we go.
Woo!
Definitely.
Turn up.
Yeah, and that's my story. I got the entire family hooked on anime.
Okay.
I think my first anime was probably, believe it or not, either between Sailor Moon or Dragon Ball Z.
Sailor Moon, definitely,
Yeah, Sailor Moon was definitely one of my first anime.
You know,
I didn't know what was going on, but I watched it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I never watched Sailor Moon, so I feel like I'm like super far behind every other person in the universe because everyone's like, "Oh man, Sailor Moon, Crystal's coming out. It's crazy." I'm like, "What's Sailor Moon?"
I didn't watch
For
it.
all the wrong reasons. I watched it for all the wrong reasons.
And what reasons were those?
For the transformation, yeah. I watched it
You
for the
tried to see
transformation
that
every
girl
time.
naked.
You watching Sailor Moon for the fan service?
Yeah, definitely. And I didn't think about it when I was a kid. I was like, hold on, these are kids. These are like 16-year-old girls. Like, I mean, I guess. I mean, I was 16 at the time, so I guess it was okay. But now I look at it, I'm like, man, I can't get with it.
Well, for me, I'd have to say, like, my first definitely, my first, Ronin Warriors, because I feel like it started out with Toonami Block, and I was always a Cartoon Network kid. So for me, it started out with that and Sailor Moon, and I feel like Zoids came on, but I feel like that was later. So those are the first ones I got into, and from there, like, I started watching online once online started to become a thing. So that was man. I love
You
them.
guys remember Samurai Pizza Cat, yo?
Samurai Pizza Cat. It sounds familiar. Like I feel like I've seen it like once, but like I can't. I feel like I have.
I used to watch it early in the morning, man. It's about like some cats, but they had like this samurai armor, kind of like Ronin Warriors, and each of them had like their own thing. I think if I really want to go back, I think the first one I got into Japanese culture was probably like Power Rangers, man. Like I didn't
Yeah.
know it
That's
was like
everybody hook right there. Everybody. I
Yeah.
don't care who you are. You know you were watching Power
Exactly.
Rangers.
Yeah, like that was my joint.
yeah, that was my joint, man. I mean, I never knew it was Japanese until I did research. Like I
Yeah,
said, back
I
then
didn't know
we didn't
until
have the
recently.
internet, man.
Same. I found that
Yeah,
out
we didn't
this
have the
year.
internet.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching Super Sentai for like forever. I guess it was just, well, I guess because in Japan it's Super Sentai. It's just that.
Right.
There is no Power Rangers. I'm like, whoa, it's crazy.
So I just
Yeah.
now look up Super Pizza Cat. I had never seen this before.
You never seen Samurai Pizza Cat?
I mean, yeah, it's called Samurai Pizza Cat. I never seen this before. Never.
I would put that in the comedy anime category, but it still was action in it too. So, I mean, it was
Comedic
around the
action?
time, like I said, Fox was my first introduction to anime. I don't think Toonami was secondary. And like they used to show it early in the morning with Sailor Moon and Ronin Warriors and Dragon Ball Z.
That's probably why I seen it at on Fox, cause I don't think I seen Sailor Moon on Toonami. I probably caught that on Fox. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because it came on Toonami like right. I want to say right after Dragon Ball Z, but before Rurouni Kenshin. Because I would be in there like swimwear.
I thought
Did they show Rurouni Kenshin?
Yeah, they
I
did.
think so. Yeah.
See, man, that must be the later on years, man. I remember just Dragon Ball Z and like Tenchi Muyo and all those.
Yes, Trinity.
Yeah, Tenchi, yo.
I remember it, but I don't remember it. Like I remember I watched it, but I don't remember what it was about.
I watched that one for the wrong reason too.
I bet you did.
Right?
I think most people watch that one for the wrong reasons.
Right, that's the one you
I
gotta
didn't
be like.
watch it for the wrong reason.
Sure.
All right.
He said
quit
most
lying.
people,
We all
not
know what
all.
you for.
Like I remember when Funimation had its actual own TV service. Like
Yeah, I remember that too.
and like they had like a whole bunch of ecchi shows. Like I didn't know what it was. Like, wait, what is this? So, so like Tenchi Muyo was on there, and there was like a whole bunch of other ecchi shows that was on the Funimation channel. And like younger, I'm all like, hey, let me close this door real quick. Like,
this is definitely not family friendly.
right. Like, hey, you ready to go? No, give me like 20 more minutes until this anime goes off.
Not the extra 20 minutes.
It was like an early Adult Swim. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a channel. I don't know if it's the same one you're talking about, or if this is like the Playboy channel or something. So when I was younger, and we go all the way to channel 72. It was I don't remember the name of it for the life of me, but I know that it was pretty much this one girl, and I feel like they were in school, but she was a lesbian, and she was like turning everybody out, and all like something was happening, and I was like, this
word?
Way down.
Yo, if you can remember that name, can you slide that over to your boy?
I got you.
All right, guys. So we're gonna end it here. Thank you, blerds out there, for tuning in for our video podcast. If you like the art that was displayed in this video, and cut.
Have like a bloopers moment too. Just add like some of this.
Right? Just add all the bloopers and stuff.
I could probably do like a 5-minute video of bloopers or something. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, blurs out there, for tuning in for our video podcast. If you like the art that was displayed in the video of the discussions, you can find the artist info in the description below, as well as those who was on the panel. You can find all their social media links in the description below. So make sure to sub, like, share, and hit notify to catch the next weekly update of Black Anime Fanatics BAF Fan Talk. Stay blurty.
See ya.
Sayonara. See ya. Bye. Nice.
Bye.
And cut. Somebody was just doing the bird sound.
Bitch, I'm a bird. Bitch, I'm a bird.
I don't say yo, I just say you're.